very concerning to my client is the fact that he hasn't had any parenting time. Miss Boone, today's Friday.
Mhm.
Would it be possible for Andrew to pick up Maddie at 6 p.m. tonight?
Um, no, but he can stop by whenever. Whenever I'll make it available, he can stop by anytime.
Well, isn't 6 o'clock anytime?
Yeah, he can come by, yes, but he cannot. I don't want him to pick her up right now.
Why?
How many fathers out there are in a similar situation like this? Visitation is being withheld by the mother of his children, and he has to go back to court and fight to see his children. And you see this mother in this clip. She doesn't seem concerned about it at all. She was just doing whatever the hell she pleases. And you have to ask, what makes her think that she can get away with this? It's the system. The system has allowed her to. Fathers are important, right? I mean, supposedly, they say kids need their dads. But if you step into a family courtroom, you find out the truth real quick. To them, you are not a parent or a protector. You're not even a person. You're a wallet. Men are commodified and reduced to financial assets post-divorce. And once those papers are filed, the system stops seeing you as a man, as a father, your revenue stream. Let's really get into this and break it down. The moment you're divorced, you're devalued as a man and as a father. The second that divorce is on the table, everything changes. Your rights as a father shrink, your role as a father shifts, and your status as a father, it gets demoted to financial obligation. They don't ask, can you as a man and as a father love and nurture his child or children? They don't care. They see the mother as the primary parent, and that's all there is to it. Now, children need both mother and father, correct? But it really comes down to how much can we make him pay? What you become in the eyes of the court is the payer, the obligor. That's all you are. Those aren't just words. It's a legal classification. You are literally redefined, not as dad, but as an obligor. It's not about what you provide emotionally. It's about how much they can extract from you monthly. You're not a co-parent, as you should be. You're a paycheck. My own experience, I mean, I had every other weekend and Tuesday nights with my kids, and that was considered fair by the court. Shouldn't children see their father more than 4 or 5 times a month? Now, I made up for it by going to all my kids' school events and their games and things of that nature. I never missed anything. It was something the courts and their mother couldn't stop me from doing, and they couldn't take it away from me. But wouldn't fair custody most often be 50-50? Shouldn't that be the standard? Wouldn't that be in the best interest of the children? But mothers get primary custody 90% of the time, and fathers are relegated to the periphery of their children's lives. Is that fair? The mother, I mean, she almost has to be a crack whore working the streets for the father to get full custody. In many cases, the father has to prove he's a good man. He has to prove he's a good father. The mother doesn't have to prove anything. The mother is just assumed to be the primary parent. Now, let's get into the business of child support. Here's what most people don't realize. Child support is not about the child. It's about the system. I shared this fact in a previous message here on Resilient Man called Rigged Against Fathers. Check it out. It's very eye-opening. The fact is, states receive federal incentive payments for how much child support they collect. The more they extract from fathers like you, the more federal money the state gets under Title 4-D. This means the courts are financially motivated to award sole custody to one parent, usually the mother, designate the father as payer or obligor, and then maximize that support amount. Here's a graph showing this from the Office of Child Support. It illustrates how federal funding supports state-level child support enforcement programs and such. Now, why does this matter? Because federal contributions cover around 66% of state expenses. And states earn extra funding based on outcomes. A state's ability to notably exceed federal match percentages or collect higher arrears results in more federal funds to the state. And remember now, you don't get an audit of where your child support money is spent. You could be paying $1,200 a month, and your child may see only $200 of that. So where does the rest go? Maybe fancy dinners, getting her nails done, girls' nights, vacations, who knows? Family court certainly doesn't care, and why should they? You're not paying for the child, you're paying to keep the system alive. A family court isn't neutral, it's a profit machine. Let's dispel that myth right now. Family court isn't about fairness. You as a father are not an equal parent in the eyes of the court. It's about efficiency and revenue. Money. Judges have massive discretion. They rarely grant 50-50 custody because it reduces child support obligations. And less child support means less federal funding. That's why in 90% of cases, the mother receives primary custody. Why? Because it's easier to assign a payer, you, the father, not because she's a better parent. I mean, many of you fathers out there are excellent parents, maybe better than the mother in some cases. And once you're labeled the payer, the obligor, you can't write it off. You can't negotiate how that child support money is used by the mother. You certainly cannot skip a payment, even if you lose your job. I mean, you miss one payment, you're a criminal. Not just a dad who's fallen on hard times and is trying to survive and make ends meet. You're a criminal. License suspended, passport revoked, wages garnished, you are trapped. Your value as a father reduced to a dollar sign. The truth, they don't see your love. They don't see your effort, and they really don't give a damn. They see your income. Your child's relationship with you is directly tied to your earning potential. If you're middle class or better, they drain you dry. If you're poor, they jail you.
That's the child support Mr. Edwards is paying to Miss Langley?
That's correct, Your Honor. At this time, the state will call Mr. Edwards. At the time when the previous order was done, were you previously ordered to pay $2,300 a month in child support?
Yes, sir.
And is that for your two children that's before the court today?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, what kind of work were you doing when you were ordered to pay that the $2,300 a month?
I was a U.S. Border Patrol agent with Customs and Border Protection.
And have there been any changes in your job since the time of that previous order?
Yes, sir. I retired at the end of December.
Previously, Mr. Edwards has been paying $2,300 a month, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the proposed reduction, do you think you'll be able to maintain the children's needs with that amount?
Their basic needs, possibly. It would be a very big burden on myself. I'm a school teacher and I make very much less per year than he is capable of. I feel like doing this to them after their entire lives, having a lifestyle that met the lifestyle we had when we were married, would be detrimental to them. And
how many of you dads out there are working 2 to 3 jobs just to keep up with exorbitant child support? And these clips I just showed you We have a guy who retired after 20 years of service with the Border Patrol, and yet his ex wants him to keep up her lifestyle. Okay, he can go back to work, she says, but he's going to be forced out of retirement so he can keep up her lifestyle. Now, that's what she said. She also said that with his new income, his retirement income, child support would be reduced, but it would still cover the needs of the children. Their needs would still be met, but she's more concerned with keeping up her lifestyle. If this doesn't illustrate that men and fathers are just to be used as financial workhorses, I don't know what does. I mean, he's not entitled to retirement after 20 years with the Border Patrol. She wants him forced out of retirement. He's met his obligations over the years. He hasn't done anything wrong. Incidentally, how is it she can afford an attorney? A decent family law attorney retainer usually starts around $2,500, at least in my experience. And that is just the retainer. The system doesn't care if you're trying. It only cares if you're paying. And if your ex blocks you from seeing your children, like in the original clip, if she ignores the visitation orders, there's no consequences or very little. What can you as a father really do about it? It's cost prohibitive for many men and fathers to go back to court because you have to hire an attorney back. You have to pay those fees. And she knows it. She knows she has you over a barrel. She knows she can withhold visitation. She can do what she pleases in the court. In most cases, may slap her on the wrist, but that's about it. But if you miss a child support payment, they send the cavalry after you. Now, for those of you out there who are going to comment about deadbeat dads, yes, there are some deadbeat dads out there, and it's a terrible thing. No one is denying that. But they are a small percentage versus the majority of dads out there. Most divorced fathers are stressed to the hilt by exorbitant child support and depressed over the fact they only get to see their children a few times a month. And this is sanctioned by the court. Why doesn't society care? Well, in part because the media has spent decades programming us to believe that fathers are optional, most dads are deadbeats, single mothers are all Wonder Woman and they're to be celebrated, ignoring the fact a lot of fathers are purposely kept out of their children's lives by the mother via parental alienation. Men who complain, you're just bitter. You know, it's promoted in sitcoms and movies and such where the dads are portrayed as imbeciles and idiots. The commercials where fathers are invisible on purpose. And then courtrooms where only her truth really matters. You've been rebranded from father to financial product. It is big business. And if you speak up, you're called misogynistic, you're bitter, you're insecure. But the truth of it is you aren't weak because you want to be a father. It's strength. And the system is designed to break that strength. The family court doesn't see your tears or your pain, and they really don't give a damn. It sees your paycheck. It sees your it doesn't see your sleepless nights or your broken heart because you rarely get to see your children. It sees you as a monthly obligation. You're not a father in their eyes. You're a funding source, a number on a ledger, a wallet with a heartbeat. Once you understand how this machine works, you stop blaming yourself. You stop playing by their rules and start protecting your time and your money and especially your legacy with your children. You realize it's not about being a better father to them. You are already a good father. It's about being a smarter one for you. So to every man out there, fight. Continue to fight, not only in the courtroom, by being the man and the father your children know and love.
One of the best ways to deal with a contested custody case is to never give up. These cases can be very long and very difficult. Most importantly, they could be emotionally draining on you as a parent. What you need to do is just stay focused and stay consistent with your efforts. If you're trying to show the court that you are a better parent and the children are better suited with you, do not give up on that idea. Make sure that you continue doing things that you're doing as you were doing them before the divorce process started. Do not change the way you are and what kind of a person and what kind of a parent you are just because there's a divorce.
They may see you as just a wallet, but your children see you as something far more powerful, Dad. They may take your money and not see your value as a father, but do not let them take your purpose. Support the channel. Hit subscribe for me right now. The channel is growing and it's about men advocating for men. Comment your own story. Share this content with other men who need to hear this message, and they need to see that if they're going through a similar situation, they are not alone. There are other men out there who give a damn. Stay resilient. Know your worth. Protect your peace.